Speaking of things that I guess could anger people.
Okay, here we go then. We've got... That's the wrong one.
We've got the stream
There we
thing.
go. We're sorted.
Yes, we have got the WoW Classic Survey. Oh boy. Yeah, so this is dramatic. You could... Okay. I think it's just that seeing what's on the screen there is fundamentally spooky. Like, if you just scroll up to, like, the actual question... I mean, thinking specifically about the clone service that will be available when TBC releases, how likely or unlikely are you to do it for $29.99? Do you want to pay $30 for your WoW character to exist both in Classic and then also move on to TBC?
Database transfer?
So, yes, your answers are very unlikely, somewhat unlikely, neither likely nor blah, blah, blah.
Standard survey stuff.
Yeah, standard survey stuff. And what is interesting is, well, it's a fun problem because if you gave people a sliding scale of how much would you be willing to pay, obviously everybody would just click at $9.99, the cheapest option. So what they will do is they will get a very big sample set of people. They will subdivide that out. And, you know, some people will be asked that exact same question, but it could be $9.99, $39.99, or anything in between. And I think that indicates that between 10 and $40 is what Blizzard thinks this service's like price range could be. Certainly, the thing here is, God, I wish I knew what back in when they were doing this, but for character boosts. I wonder what their range was. Whatever it was, they definitely went with the upper end.
Yeah, so the range is... They probably kept the range a bit tighter there, I would imagine. In the higher end, but yeah, it's like people need trained on how to answer these correctly and understand them so we can play with the data and get the results we want.
Yeah. So okay, so Jordan D says $30 is too much, but data isn't free, people. I mean,
yes.
Yeah, it does take your server engineers, and you have to develop a system to actually make this happen. But it's extremely high margin once that's done.
Yeah, it's not that it's free, it's that it feels so, especially when they're talking about the range. I mean, this doesn't imply anything about pricing, but they probably wouldn't put a price that they wouldn't accept there. So, I mean, if you're looking at, if they could charge $10 for this, but instead everyone said, yeah, we're pretty happy to pay $40, and they charge $40, then you're thinking, okay, you've just added a $30 margin onto your product for no reason outside of people said they would buy it. So it's a bit funny.
The thing is, I think this is both ridiculous and unnecessary and an obvious cash grab. But I also think that logically it offers a tremendous value for the players it's targeted at. Now, I don't say it offers a tremendous value in a way that indicates that I think that's a good thing. But if you're a Classic player, and if you're a Classic player and really a Classic player, I mean, that's a part of your identity for so many people. They fought so hard for this to happen. It finally happens. They put 2 years into their character, or however long it's been, year and a half, whatever. They're now attached to their character. Now, they are then presented with, okay, your character is now going to leave Classic forever, or you'll get that option if you want to do TBC. Or you could have your new character continue, and you could also keep him, keep your character in Classic. To somebody with that level of attachment to their character, that's big. And also it means that for if you are okay with just promoting all your characters to TBC, then it won't really matter to you. But for a lot of people, they will want to keep a character in the Classic environment. So for those people, I mean, the thing that makes sense if you want a bunch of TBC ready characters is to get the one boost you can get, and then to get the cloning service for all your other characters. So they know that they can really double down on this for the Classic whales. Now, whale and WoW Classic player, you wouldn't think those things go together, but I think here people will find that they will. I think this is going to make a tremendous amount of money for Blizzard. And I also think that, I mean, they could charge a decently high fee for that. And I think they could get away with it rather shockingly, assuming the price delta between this and the paid character boost is still big enough.
Yeah, because obviously this is going to be way, way, way more valuable than a boost.
To some people, yeah.
Yeah, because obviously, especially like, it depends on what the boost comes with, I guess. But whenever you've got a character that's got, you know, you've got your full professions, you've got all this gear that you're attached to, you've got the stuff, especially if you've got like trinkets or particular items that are going to stay like pre-raid bis in TBC. It's like, oh yeah, you've got the head start, but you know, if you want to keep it in classic and move on, you have to pay for it. And I think it's like, it's really hard to reconcile the fact that the value is so manufactured on their end by not allowing the service in any other handy way. Because I just thought, I mean, PTR character copies are free.
Oh yeah, like, that's a worthwhile thing here. This shit's all free in the PTR. You can do it all the time. The icon just appears. Like, this does not cost them really anything to do.
Yeah, it's like, especially if it's using like the same system, then it is effectively a service they've already developed. They already use in the PTR. It doesn't always work, but they use it on PTR and betas all the time. So it's like, it can't help but feel exploitative because it doesn't, like, I'm thinking about the version of Blizzard that would say, oh, hey, this cloning service is free for one character or free for two characters, whatever else. The amount of goodwill you'd win. But this shows like a willingness from the people who are involved in making the monetary decisions to just go, what can we squeeze them for?
Yeah.
And they're actually, I mean, they're asking people, how much can we squeeze you for? Like, how much does this sound to you? 30? No, okay, 20. Okay, 20. We'll take as much money as you're willing to give us. And that's the thing that honestly, like, it actually angers me a little bit when I think about how poorly they handle the user experience, how they use the 6-month sub. A lot of the stuff that the like money people at Blizzard and the people who like price products and stuff, they are genuinely exploitative in how they act. It's the same as like most AAA stuff where it's like the loot box PDF I was reading from the research earlier where they said developers openly talk about this, in this case loot boxes, but it's one item from a psychological playbook.
Oh yeah,
developers openly talk about, and it just feels.
Well, a great example is, I mean, a personal friend of mine at a major studio has got themselves into run-ins disagreeing with more senior people at said studio who are totally in the game dev, always thinking about psychology. They're totally in that bubble. And the microtransactions and all of those things that a bunch of the gamers don't like. And it's that thing where, yeah, loads of game developers are very out of touch. And that's because they live in an entirely different reality and approach all of these problems from a completely different direction. Which is kind of something that happens by default because, of course, making a game is very different from playing it. But it factors in things like this. And I think it's perhaps why devs are sometimes surprised at their audience's reactions, while audiences sit there and think, how did you not see this coming?
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is.
Devs end up drinking the Kool-Aid whenever marketing people are speaking to them enough, I imagine. Especially if it's harassment. Like, yeah, this is totally a valuable service because think of all the value. And they're like, yeah, whatever, I understand. And because especially at Blizzard, I imagine if you work at Blizzard, you don't pay for the service. Like,
yeah,
I can't imagine that anyway.
I guess I almost wish we could like put up a sign in the office here that says like, you know, if I don't know, someone's just like, don't speak corporate bullshit, or you know, something like that.
Yeah, just remember, there's a human playing the game. Like,
yeah. So, oh dear, yeah, that's the situation. They're just trying to work out how much they're going to charge. It's going to be between $9.99, $39.99. Who knows what the regular boost is going to cost, though. But that's the situation for TBC. I believe there is more TBC stuff to cover as well.
Before we go, I'll say, we have a way to vaguely fight back now that we understand this. If you get a survey and the number seems high, say no. completely destroy their data and get things better for everyone. Don't know if that's completely fair to say, but you know, we do have a weapon against.
Yeah, or I mean, you could all just tweet them to piss off whenever they, you know, if they announce it and it seems like bullshit.
Could also do that, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
we don't need to be compliant corporate drones, and I think Blizzard. Maybe at a point, I think more people are sort of turned on to Blizzard being a bit of a soulless corporate entity now.
For sure.
But there was a long time where Blizzard was able to trade in their name in a way that, you know, almost seemed like the bad bits, the exploitative bits of parasocial relationships with streamers.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, so that's eroding, thankfully, because they shouldn't get free wins by default from a compliant bunch of, I guess, from a sycophantic audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, okay.
Time to move on.
That's that. Let's move on.